A few months ago, Elon Musk posted a bold tweet saying that Tesla may become bigger than Apple, which is an iconic company co-founded by Steve Jobs, and since Musk has already achieved incredible highs in the world of technology, many believe that he has even a bigger legacy than Steve Jobs. Therefore, let us break down their achievements, their life path, and then you will see easily the answer to this question. Let's begin with Steve Jobs. He encountered his first computer when he was very young, around 10 or 11 years old. He would later state that he was completely fascinated by what the computer could do, specifically the fact that it could execute your idea and give you back some results. He was hooked. One of the more defining facets of those we look up to as revolutionary innovators is the ability to take risks, and at 12 years old, that's exactly what Jobs did. He stated in an interview years later that he worked up the nerve to call Bill Hewlett, a co-founder of the information technology company Hewlett & Packard. He informed him that he was building a frequency counter and asked Hewlett if he wouldn't mind giving him some spare parts. This took a lot of courage at the young age of 12, and Jobs didn't know if he would be declined or not. But, to his pleasant surprise, he got more than just a few parts. Impressed by the young kid's gumption, Hewlett would offer him a summer job. The rest, as they say, is history from there. Jobs would later befriend Steve Wozniak, who was just as excited as Jobs about the technology behind computers. In 1976, Jobs, Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne formally founded Apple. And later that year, they would release the Apple I desktop computer. This was the first foray into the personal computer and made residential acquisition of computers a lot more tangible than they previously had been. What was different about the Apple I was the fact that it came fully assembled, whereas other computers came in a kit form that people had to assemble themselves. The Apple I also functioned using a keyboard and monitor, such as a television, versus lights and switches for the input and output. The original price of an Apple I was about $700, but a year later, Jobs and Wozniak were able to get that price down to about $475. It was a long-term goal of theirs to make the personal desktop computer affordable and thus widely used in people's homes. Whether they knew it or not, the Apple I was merely the first step in Jobs and Wozniak's company, changing not only the technology industry, but the world. Apple would go public in 1980, causing sales and Jobs' net worth to skyrocket. But 1984 proved to be an even more successful year. On January 22, 1984, during the Super Bowl, a 1-minute-long commercial aired advertising the Macintosh computer. Inspired by the novel 1984 by George Orwell, the commercial featured troves of gray uniformed individuals sitting in front of a large screen as the televised image of a man speaks to them. Anya Major, who is an English athlete, runs into the television room and throws a sledgehammer into the screen, causing it to explode. With thick gray plumes of smoke in the background, the following words appeared on people's television screens. On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh, and you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984. This groundbreaking commercial, which is now remembered as one of the most influential tech advertisements in history, was a suggestion that Macintosh computers would free people from the colorless routines that they had known previously. The image of the runner, Anya Major, destroying the television screen sent the message that Apple would be disrupting the industry forever. Though there was mixed reception to this risky genre-bending commercial, it wound up winning a handful of awards. The Macintosh computer, later shortened to just the Mac, was not the resounding success that Apple had hoped it would be early on. But of course, that didn't stop Jobs. He found ways to make it better, to improve upon the technology and make it more user and home-friendly. It was the first of its kind to feature a mouse as well as a GUI, or graphical user interface, that we now know to be the technology behind the icons we utilize on a daily basis. Suddenly, desktop Macs were popping up everywhere, from businesses to school computer classrooms and, of course, households. 10 years after the iconic Super Bowl commercial, Apple would see its foray into portable computers, which the company called PowerBooks. These were the early laptops and were equipped with touchpads instead of trackballs. Trackballs, as you might remember, were the early computer cursors that looked like a little raised circle in the middle of the keyboard, but they were clunky and needed to be cleaned regularly. With the trackpads, as Apple called them, users could move their pointer around easily. From then on, it was considered a more sleek design to make laptops with touchpads instead of the big trackballs. Portable devices seemed to be the calling of Apple over the next decades, as the company strove to identify problems and develop solutions. Music became their next focus with the iPod after Jobs noticed that the current portable music players were too big or chunky, such as the portable CD players with headphones, or that the interfaces and graphics were horrible on the existing music players. He also thought people should be able to store more songs than current devices allowed them to. On October 23, 2001, the first iPod was released and had since been dubbed the iPod Classic. It retailed at $399, featured 5 gig hard drive, and had a slightly elevated scrolling wheel used to navigate through the menu and user song list. The second generation of the iPod was upgraded to feature a touch wheel instead of the scrolling one. From there, the designs would get smaller but better, as people the world over carried entire playlists in their pockets. Apple's, and specifically Steve Jobs' dream, more portable and accessible to the masses, came a long way from the first Apple I computer, and it can't be denied that without Jobs' hard work and innovation, much of what we use on a daily basis, Microsoft products, Apple products, and more, would simply not exist. It's interesting that recently Musk publicly critiqued Apple and talked about problems that the biggest company in the world currently has. But when talking about Steve, Elon always shows how he appreciates what Jobs has done.
I think Steve Jobs is way cooler than I am, so...
Though Elon Musk is not known for his contribution in the field of computers, he still shares some of the same visions for humanity that Steve Jobs did. Bettering the daily lives of people is a goal that both of them operated under when they set out to create any of the inventions that we have today. In 1995, Musk and his brother Kimball started Zip2 Corporation, which was a software that allowed people to search an online business directory for information, much in the same way that would flip through the physical Yellow Pages. Musk combined 2 sets of databases using the code he wrote, one which would list local businesses and the other which acted as a mapping service. And the service was born. Users could easily find a business and navigate through a map to pinpoint the location of the company they were looking for. Eventually, newspapers became customers of Zip2 Corporation and used the service to create directories for their online subscribers. Despite their growing popularity among newspapers, the early days of Zip2 were a financial struggle for Musk, who would admit years later that he and his brother would sleep in the Zip2 office and would take showers at the nearby YMCA. At 27 years old, Musk eventually sold the company in 1999 and walked away with $22 million in the process. Though many people have viewed Zip2 as a failure, it was actually a launching point in Musk's career. The same year he sold Zip2, Musk formed X.com, which later became the money transfer platform we know as PayPal. Musk sold the company in 2002 to eBay, who purchased it for $1.5 billion in stock. Musk made off with $165 million from that sale. They say that the best inventions are those that people never knew they needed, but once they have them, they can't live without them. At this point in his life, it was clear to Musk that he could profit off of his ideas as long as he created inventions that people, as well as the world itself, needed. Enter Musk into the space and electric vehicles industry, respectively. In 2002, he founded SpaceX and a year later, Tesla. Through numerous trials and errors over the nearly 2 decades of his existence, SpaceX has revolutionized the space exploration industry by making the cost of space flight significantly lower. SpaceX's use of reusable rockets has decreased the turnaround time as well as the cost for sending astronauts and resources up into space. In 2012, a commercial SpaceX vehicle became the first to deliver resources to the ISS, or the International Space Station. 2 years later, SpaceX broke another barrier. Never before had commercial space exploration seemed as tangible as it did in 2014, when SpaceX announced that it would be building a private commercial rocket launch site, the first of its kind. They added that Boca Chica, Texas, would be the location. On September 15, 2021, SpaceX sent its first all-civilian crew into orbit aboard their Crew Dragon capsule. Today, anyone with the time, interest, and money can go onto SpaceX's website and inquire about commercial flights to space. Their site offers both Earth and lunar orbit, and getting started is as easy as sending an email. While SpaceX has revolutionized humans' relationship to space, Tesla has done the same thing for the electric car industry. Although it was considered a newcomer in that realm years ago, it made up for it by being one of the industry disruptors. The original hybrid or electric car that preceded Tesla's models were not widely considered sleek or attractive. Musk changed that. In June of 2012, the first Model S cars were scheduled for delivery to consumers, and it became immediately clear that there would soon be a high demand for environmentally friendly cars that were also affordable and, to put it plainly, good-looking. The Model S retailed for around $57,400 and could drive for a minimum of 300 miles on a single charge. On the inside, it featured a 17-inch touchscreen, navigation software, and internet radio. Due to how quickly Tesla was able to make a name for themselves, it caused other manufacturers to pick up the pace in the realm of electric car innovation, or risk getting left in the dust. Not only did Musk help to revolutionize the electric car industry, he also made consumers believe that they were contributing to the betterment of the environment. As people grow more conscious of their impact through emissions, pollution, and more, buying practices are changing and trending more toward environmentally friendly products. The Tesla CEO has stated for years that his biggest goals are those to help humanity and the planet, and he's created a way for others to follow in his vision. Today, it is common to hear Musk talk about his goals for the colonization of Mars, something he thinks is tangible but still decades away. This is not some lofty pondering by a billionaire, however. In his quest to help save the planet, Musk thinks that making humanity an interplanetary species is the only way to ensure the livelihood of future generations. It therefore can't be denied that the resounding success of Jobs and Musk's innovations can be attributed to how forward-thinking both of them are. Had they listened to their critics or been discouraged by their failures, neither of them would have had the impact on the world that we know them for today. Who has the bigger legacy? That's up for you to decide. We just provide facts about their achievements. And finally, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. It's easy, it's free, and it will be a great support for the channel.